Start by removing the metal base from each tree. Arrange the trees in a wreath pattern. Use 3 zip ties to secure the rods. Finish decorating the wreath with more ribbons, floral picks, ornaments, or anything else you like, then display your beautiful wreath for the holidays.
So we're going to start with this wooden container. We have these in stock at nicksseasonaldecor.com, and what we're going to do is fill it with foam. So here we have dry foam. So I'll just take my brick of foam. The container is 6 by 6, and I'm just going to kind of measure out to see where I need to cut it. Then I'll just create a little score mark and just cut it off. That glue will be nice and secured. So just press it in. So this is about a 3-foot tree or so, and let's work it in. It does come with a spike that I just secured. So notice that there's a little bit of a gap. We can come back in with extra greenery. We can also come back in with moss. So now we just have some narrow ribbon. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a little loop. All of these pine branches are wired, and you can easily maneuver them and manipulate them and secure them to your design. So we'll take our next piece and place it on the other side. Again, just take those twist ties, wrap them around, come back in with the loop. We're trying to make this as even as possible. All right, time to come back in with our next. So this is actually 7/8 inch ribbon. Take our next piece. We'll just continue that pattern. So now we're done with ribbon. So what I thought we would work in, because I want to keep this tree kind of classical, we have some of these berries. These also came from our site, and we're just going to break them down into smaller pieces. Bend them to shape. I want these facing downhill. I don't want them to be sticking straight up. Dip it in your glue skillet, and just poke it into your tree. And then whatever else we have left, we can just place wherever we think we need a berry or two. All right, so now we have these little ornaments, and these came from Walmart. So we'll just take these, hot glue them sporadically throughout. We can take some, place them on the surface, some towards the inside, some on top of the ribbon, virtually anywhere and everywhere we think is necessary. Okay, and here is our finished tree. So I love the simplicity of it. I love that we didn't overdo it. And like I said, you could fill the container with moss or more greenery, but you can hardly see any of that foam anyway. So I have him just staged with a little snowman I picked up, and I love the way this turned out. So I love the red and gold combo. It's very traditional, it's very classical, and everybody seems to really like that. So make sure to work in some ribbon next time you decorate a tree.
This is such a great project that begins with some easy to find Dollar Tree items. Using a hot glue gun, apply a generous amount of hot glue to the tray and stick a piece of styrofoam down onto the tray. After your styrofoam is secured to the tray, you can open up your trees. Take out your tree and fluff the branches. You want to keep one side of the tree rather flat and fluff up the branches toward the other side. Next, you're going to take the first tree and stick it into the side of the styrofoam. You can add a little bit of hot glue around where the trunk of the tree enters the styrofoam. Now, set this aside. You're going to open up the third and the fourth trees and use a pair of wire cutters to cut off each of the little branches from the trunks of those trees. When you have finished cutting all of the little branches off, you can bring your silver tray with the first 2 trees back and begin building up your centerpiece with those branches. The branches from the trees are on wires stiff enough that they will poke right down into the styrofoam securely. Arrange the branches in the styrofoam in a shape that fills in the space between the 2 trees on the end. Now is where you get to have some fun and personalize your centerpiece. I found these cute little gold bird nests with gold eggs in them and some red and gold sparkly poinsettias to use. Just cut the wires of whatever pitch you choose to add to your centerpiece and stick the wires down into the foam to secure them. I used just a little bit of this red and gold ribbon, cutting short pieces and folding it into loops. Secure each loop with a piece of floral wire and stick the wire into the foam. For the ends of the centerpiece, I cut a long piece and again wrapped a piece of floral wire around the end to secure it into the foam, and I had a ribbon tail at each end. Finish off your arrangement by adding some Dollar Tree Christmas ornaments wherever you want a little more color. There you have it, a beautiful holiday centerpiece that no one would guess began as Dollar Tree Christmas trees. I hope this has inspired you to try and make your own Dollar Tree Christmas tree centerpiece this season. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, right here on Home Talk.
The holidays have hit the dollar store. Pick up 2 small tabletop evergreen trees. Line up the trees bottom to bottom. Place some glue at connecting points of the trunks and hold until dry. Once the tree connection is secure, fluff out the branches of the trees on both sides. Take your sparkly picks and connect them to the center of the trees using more of the wired green garland strips. Clip the foliage off the faux berry stems and arrange the berries into the branches of the trees. Once you find an arrangement you like, take your hot glue gun and secure them in place with a little glue. Grab some ribbon in a coordinating pattern and tie a simple bow by making 2 ribbon loops and tying them around each other to make the bow. Slide a piece of the wired evergreen strip through the back loop of the bow and tie the bow to the center of the swag. Take it a step further and glue your bottle brush tree, a Christmas tree ornament, and any other embellishment you like to the center of the swag. Hang your new swag vertically on your front door using a wired garland strip for the hanging loop. Add a festive Christmas patterned doormat and hang a tiny red stocking filled with Christmas candy from the door handle. Your newly Christmas decorated door is a perfect way to welcome all your holiday friends, family, and neighbors to your home.
To start this project, I'm beginning with the Dollar Tree Christmas tree. And the first step is to disassemble the tree entirely. That includes unwinding the string, taking the base, and then removing all the branches and setting those aside. I am going to save the string for future projects, and I recommend you do the same. Now that the tree is completely disassembled, I'm going to be using 3 of the 15-foot garlands from Dollar Tree for this project. I am using the white branches from the original tree to measure out multiple branches at the same length from my garland. And there are 3 different lengths for this tree. For this step, take twine from the Dollar Tree and 3 of the branches to combine them into a fork type shape. These are going to be the new branches for the tree, and I want them to look more realistic. I'm going to go through every single branch and put them together into a bundle until I am out of branches. Now that my branches are bundled together, I'm moving on to the next step of mixing together a combination of flocking powder and fake snow in a container. I got both of these supplies from Amazon. You don't necessarily need both, but I wanted to try both to give it more dimension. So I recommend doing whatever works for your budget. I wanted each branch end to look more realistic, so I'm trimming the tips of the branches to give them more of an organic shape, so they're a little more rounded. I'm also bending the branches slightly downward so they look realistic when we add our flocking powder and snow mixture. Once the branch is completely covered, dip or coat the branch in the flocking powder. I do recommend wearing a mask for extra precaution on this step, just so you're not inhaling the flocking powder. And you're going to repeat this step many, many, many more times. And you're going to want to let the branches dry overnight in a space where they won't be disturbed. Take the original metal rod that was part of the original tree, some twine, and a few loose branches to create a bundle for the top of the tree. Next, you're going to start adding the smallest branch bundles. I'm simply adding to the bundle, wrapping with my twine around that metal rod, and continuing the process all the way down the metal rod until I run out of branch bundles. Secure the bottom of the twine with a little hot glue and a couple of knots to make sure it stays in place. Use a popsicle stick. I got mine at Dollar Tree. Cut it in half to hot glue it to the base of the tree. From there, take a plastic bowl. I got a little plastic appetizer bowl from Dollar Tree. They came in a set of 4. And I'm going to flip it upside down and hot glue the popsicle stick to the bottom part of the cup. Using a Dollar Tree bowl, once that's all dried, I glued the base of the cup to the bottom of the bowl. Take a container like a Solo cup and a paint stir stick and mix together plaster of Paris with water as directed on the package. For me, I used a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 being the plaster of Paris, 1 being the water. And you're going to pour the mixture once you've mixed it all together. And you want to make sure you're doing this quickly because this has a tendency to harden pretty quickly. And give it plenty of time to completely harden all the way through and dry. Take a couple pieces of burlap and lay them flat under the bowl of the tree base. Gather and wrap the burlap around the base to cover the bowl completely. Using a piece of rope from Dollar Tree, I got the jute rope, wrap it around to secure the burlap and tie it in a bow. And then trim the excess burlap around the top. Head to Dollar Tree and pick up mini Christmas trees and ribbon. Take 2 mini trees, glue and zip tie the bases together. Add red berries to the trees with hot glue. Add a big fake bow with hot glue to cover the center. Take a basket and flip it upside down. Cut a small hole in the bottom, thread the mini tree through. Secure with glue and rope if needed to make sure it doesn't move. Add a burlap ribbon around the base of the tree that's visible between the base and the branches. Take a mini tree and hot glue the base to the bottom of a square vase. Mix up plaster of Paris in a plastic cup. Follow the instructions on the container. Allow plenty of time to dry. Wrap the vase with snow, batting, or burlap. Add a burlap strand and Christmas ribbon with a bow to the front. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own holiday decor on a budget. I hope this inspired you to try any of these 3 Dollar Tree projects in your home. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.